Hi, I thought I'd do a quick demo for you guys who use Scan and Cut with the Wibblers. The busy bees are out and they're just starting to come out in the garden as well, which is lovely. There were loads of them around the bush outside our front door the other day. It was really lovely to see. So when I use the Scan and Cut to cut out reflections, I always work on a 140 GSM just because the Scan and Cut has a straight blade, and if you could use a thick paper or a thick card, as you build up those layers of decoupage, you just see this awful white edge and it doesn't look very professional. So what I do is I build it in a lighter weight paper, and then for something like Wibblers, where some of the pieces are very, very fine, you can either reinforce it with construction weight acetate, because your Scan and Cut will cut that. You just need to make sure your mat's really sticky with stencil glue, or you can create an offset line. Okay, so I just wanted to show you how to do an offset line for a CM Scan and Cut user and an SDX Scan and Cut user. So let's do CM first, okay? So let's go into our USB, and your USB won't look like mine. Mine's just like this because I've copied it from the server. So let's do SVG. Right, so let's go into Wibblers themselves. You also get, and I love this, you also get the web exclusives on your SVG USB. So you don't have to go and download anything extra. They're already on for you, which is really cool. So where the die customers get the die collection and then they get 2 or 3 extra dies that they can purchase, you've got yours on your USB. So we're going to go into reflections because that's how we need to access the shapes. We're going to use the original size, and actually I'm going to use a larger size because it'll be, let's do extra large because it'll be easier for you to see. And then we're going to do our reflection cut. So we'll wait for this to come on the screen. Oh, nice big characters. These would be great, won't they? Imagine stickers of these, because we sell the printable sticker sheets that cut beautifully on the Scan and Cut, I have to say. Half cut and drop your pressure down to about -2. Brilliant, works really well. Right, so let's move, we'll separate some of these out. So this one is fine, okay? You could just create an offset line around that and there's no problem with that whatsoever. This one has a landlocked area there, and this one also has a landlocked area there. So we need to do something with that to enable us to create a perfect matte layer. So for CM users, I'm going to get you to save it into Canvas Workspace. Actually, for SDX users as well, you're going to do the same thing. So now we're going to go to our Canvas Workspace and we're going to refresh. And here are our characters, should I say. I'm going to get rid of the wings. I haven't quite worked this bit out yet where I don't glide into another shape. Sometimes I'm good, sometimes I'm not. Right, so if we wanted to create a 1mm offset line for this, all you do is go to Edit, go to Create Offset, and ask it to do a 1mm outward offset line. You can leave the original as it is. So you can see now it's created a perfect 1mm border all the way around the outside of that image. Right, if we do this now, so if we do the same with this, if we go to Edit and create a 1mm outward offset line and leave the original as it is, that's fine. But what it also does is it also creates that bit. Now, that doesn't work because this is your original. What we need to do is make the outside edge bigger, but that landlocked area is smaller. And because you're doing it like this, you can't separate the two, all right? So that doesn't sound quite right. That doesn't make sense in my head. So when you create an offset line in Canvas, if you go outward, it takes every part of it outward. So if you're working on a CM machine, you need to ungroup those pieces first and separate them and do them separately. So let me show you what that looks like. So if I go back, get rid of everything that we've done before. So if I click on this now and go to edit, I can ungroup it. Even though it was grouped on my machine, I can ungroup it in Canvas Workspace. So right now it's got this piece and now it sees this as a separate piece. So if I create the 1mm outward offset line first on this one, so if I go to 1mm outward and delete the original, it's made that bigger. Now that is still sat on top now of this landlocked area. Even though they're separate, it's still seeing two pieces. So if I go to edit and send that one to the back, I can then grab that landlocked area there, and this time I can create a 1mm inward offset line. And that, whenever I did that out of craft card and then put my Wibblers on top, it will give you a perfect layer. And you can see there, so now I can group that together or divide it, it doesn't matter, whichever you prefer. If you're going to weld it to something, you want to divide it. And now I've got a perfect matte layer for my original shape, which was, let's bring that back in. So let's move both of those out the way. Let's move that out the way and that one over there. Let's bring the original back in. So let's get rid of all those. And you do get quite quick on Canvas when you get used to it. It's quite an easy thing to get used to. So if I now select both of these and go to edit and align them centrally vertically and centrally horizontally, you can see now that that landlocked area goes smaller. So the outside edge would be craft, and then the smallest of the landlocked areas would also be craft, and then your Wibbler would fit perfectly on top. So if you're using it as a CM user, that's how you need to do it. If you're doing it as a SDX user, you still need to take it into Canvas. So we still need to start with this. But instead of doing all the ungrouping and creating separate pieces, let me just get rid of these wings and bits and pieces. I don't need that one either. If I just divide both of these, so divide is going to punch those little pieces there, the landlocked areas, through the main image and make it see it as one shape. So if we go to edit and divide, you'll see that these little landlocked areas get darker. That's because there's two of them on top of each other, because it's punched it through. This is like the bit that will be left behind. You know when you die cut, this is the bit that's left behind. So now when I send these back, so if I download this back to my machine, because there's an offset function on your SDX machine, what it automatically does then when I retrieve this is, as it makes the outside bigger, it automatically makes the landlocked area smaller. The same applies with letters like A and B and D, those kind of letters that have that inside shape. So if you're ever trying to create matte layers for a letter and it's not working properly, take it into Canvas and divide it first, because that might be why. So now when I go to edit, an object edit, and I create a 1mm outward, so a positive number, not a negative number, and then press OK, what it's then automatically done is, as it's made the outside bigger, it's made the inside smaller. So if I zoom in, you'll be able to see we've got exactly what we had in Canvas Workspace, but done on your SDX. But you do absolutely need to divide it first. If you don't, it won't work, because it will do what it normally does. It will just make everything bigger. So that's how you do that. And then when you've done it, you end up with fabulous little things like this. I'm so happy about doing this collection, I can't tell you. It just worked out perfectly. David was unavailable, Stephanie's in Exeter, and I just happened to be free. So look, now if we pop that on there like that, that looks absolutely bang on perfect, which you would expect. And then this one, so with this, what I did with this time, instead of creating the landlocked areas, is I just removed them. So you also have an option to do that too. So if you don't want the landlocked areas kept in, and you didn't realise that when you take it into Canvas Workspace, you can ungroup it, you can then get rid of those landlocked areas as well. So just by taking it into Canvas and pressing a button, it means that you've got all these different options, which is great. And I also love the fact that even though it's grouped on here, you can ungroup it in there. And that's because we don't compound our files. Because if we compound them, it sees it straight away as one shape. But that means that you can't get to the inside bit and play. So that's why Canvas and this work perfectly together, because it gives us that creativity that we'd have to lose if we didn't have the ability to compound it or divide it in Canvas, which is great. Right, so happy crafting. I hope you love your collection as much as I've loved playing with it, and I will see you very soon. Oh, and just in case you missed out, there is also a paid class that you can buy from highlightcrafts.com that teaches you how to make this from scratch on your scan and cut. All of it. Great fun. So if you fancy treating yourself and you want a really nice project to get your teeth into, have a look at that as well. Right, I will see you soon. Take care. Lots of love. Bye-bye.
If you want to see more from Highlight Crafts, make sure you click the like button. Subscribe by clicking the subscribe button below and click the bell icon to receive notifications of all our future content. You can also click here to see our latest video, or click here to see more videos like this one.